many years later, I realized that it was just not beautiful places. I think a lot changed within me. That trek gave me confidence that I can do things, I can explore things. Even if I fall, I can still gather myself to do it again. That realization and whatever I felt gave me the courage to explore, to experiment, to give myself chance of fail. That that courage this trek gave me.
From Unboxing Stories, this is Himalayan Diaries. I'm your host, Ojas. If you have ever delved into the world of trekking on YouTube or on any of the internet platforms, chances are that you have stumbled upon the series Chalo Trekking with Dushyant Sharma. Today, we are honored to host the man behind these adventures. Dushyant Sharma is more than just a trekker. He has scaled not only the peaks of real mountains but also the heights of his career. Excelling in outdoor roles, he's become a mentor to numerous young trek leaders, serving as a true inspiration. Join us as Dushyant, with his wealth of trekking experiences, unveils the tales, challenges, and the journey of conquering both literal and metaphorical mountains. So grab your gear and let's start off the adventure. Chalo Trekking with Dushyant Sharma. Welcome, Dushyant, to this podcast, and thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, Ojas. I think I'm feeling very happy that I got this platform to share my stories with you and whomsoever it is going to reach, and whatever I've learned in the past 9 years of working at Indiahikes with the team members, all the local staff, all the people, the number of trekkers that I've met. I think all of them, including the Himalayas, they have given me this wealth of hiking, trekking, and experiences and stories and all of that. So I think, yeah, I'm happy to be here and sharing all these stories and experiences with you today.
Mhm. Thank you. Just before we get into the details and everything, I have a question for you. If you
Mhm.
get a superpower, sort of, or a magic wand to get a superpower that you can use on the trails or on a trek, what would that superpower be and why?
Wow, that's very wishful thinking to have superpower. Honestly, the time that I've spent in the mountains and based on the knowledge and the fitness, because you need to be fit to be in the mountains. I think I consider that to be a superpower, and I would like to continue to build upon that. You know, when you're hiking in different parts of the Himalayas or anywhere in the world, also you need to understand the place. You need to understand the season, the culture, how that route has been taken by several people in the past. So you kind of build upon the information which is there, and to achieve that, to do that, you need to be fit. You need to be physically fit. You need to be emotionally fit, mentally fit. So I think that is more important. That's the superpower I would wish for, to keep building upon that, to keep going in the mountains or anywhere. Yeah.
Mhm. And I'm pretty sure that you already have that superpower because you have been involved in running from a long time. The kind of your own adventure you are set off on, like running every day for like it's been almost 1,000+ days, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
How did that start, and what keeps you motivating?
Mm. It it actually started back in 2018. You know, one of my colleagues, his name is Gautam. He sent a message in the group, you know, that he's going to take up 100-day challenge, and you have to run every day. You set some miles to cover every day. So, you know, like he kind of posted in the group, and I'm like, wow, okay, this sounds interesting. I would also like to try 100-day challenge, but unofficially. I didn't want to pay for it and do the challenge. And I started running 5K every day, and then I finished 100 days. And it felt so good that I didn't want to stop. the streak, and then it kept going on. It went on till I fell sick with dengue in 2018, I think. I had to stop because I was sick. Then I again started it in 2020 when COVID hit. I started it again. I left my streak at 400th day when I got sick with COVID.
Mhm.
And then I restarted it in, I think, 2021. So it restarted. I started the streak again in May 2021, and then the streak is going on, and now I have reached 1,000 some days right now. I'm not keeping a count,
Mhm.
but it's there right now. But you know what? It's not that I have to keep myself motivated, because there are a lot of days when I don't feel the motivation at all. I sometimes even feel that I don't want to continue. I feel emotionally drained, physically drained. So much is happening in life, and I think similarly it happens with everyone. But I think what kept me going till now is the discipline. There will still be harsh days. There will still be like tough days, but if you are disciplined, you keep going no matter what. Of course, when it is a matter of life, death, or you're literally harming yourself physically, emotionally. I haven't reached that stage yet. There were really, really tough days, but I'm like, no, I think I have to keep going. So discipline works more than motivation, because not all the days you're motivated to do things. So it's discipline for me.
I think that is a very strong line that you said, that discipline is far more important than motivation. And what you're doing is really inspiring, because doing one thing, it doesn't even matter that if you like that or you don't like that, but just keep on
Mm.
doing one single thing for such a long period of time. It's it's like you brush every day, and it's
Yeah.
if you can count that since you were knew how to brush from that time,
Mhm.
that is also one thing that we keep doing for such a long time, and we just
Yeah.
don't keep account of that. And I think once you start embedding such things more into your life, like you have, it becomes part of your life, and that's really amazing. So from what you told, the sports or the passion for outdoor was always there right from
Mhm.
growing up, but the introduction of mountains came at a later point.
Yes.
Mhm.
Professionally, yes, um, to think about that I can do something outdoors came much later. But of course, I was introduced to the mountains and Himalayas as a kid, because I lived in Delhi, and my parents, they loved traveling, and they always took us to the mountains. I went to Manali, Nainital, um, Mussoorie, all the hill stations. So as a kid, I always, even now whenever I go to the mountains and I hear some songs, it takes me straight to my childhood when I was 4 and 5 years old. So I have those fond memories of being in the mountains, and I have some pictures. So that connection was built when I was very young. My parents took me to Gomukh Glacier when I was 5 years old. I have faded memories of, walking or being carried on the trail when I was that young. So connection was there, but it became stronger when I went on a trek back in 2011. Yeah.
Mhm. What you mentioned, a lot of things changed after that trek.
Mhm.
Which trek was it, and what was that like that changed?
Ooh, that trek was Triund. And most of the people, they go, especially from Delhi, they go to Triund, Kheer Ganga. These are very usual trails that
Mhm.
Delhi people go to. So I went on Triund. But what changed? You know what changed, Ojas? I underestimated the trek. I was 21 years old. I was so full of myself. Oh, this is such a trek. I can go. It's easy to climb. It will take 3 hours, 4 hours. Easy. Kind of underestimated the trek and overestimated myself.
Mhm.
I am not joking. In just 15 minutes of hiking, my reality was right in front of me on the trail. And I was like, what have I got myself into? I cannot do this. It challenged me physically, it challenged me emotionally, which I had never experienced before. And not just me, even my friends also. None of us came prepared for the trek. None of us. But because we were young and school friends, so under peer pressure and because you're young and you want to finish it, we just made it to the top where we were supposed to go. And the journey was not easy. The trek wasn't easy. But when I reached the top, I felt something really amazing. Of course, the views were beautiful. It was the sunset time. It was a winter evening, and sunset during winter season is exceptionally beautiful. It's mind blowing. So I was seeing the sun setting towards the Dharamshala side, the golden mist, and and right behind me was this really big mountain, which mostly people call the Moon Peak, and the entire Dhauladhar range was there, golden in color. The mind blowing views. I had never seen something like that in my life, and I was like, wow, this is such a magical place. So for many years, I thought, what changed was to experience beautiful places like these, going to the mountains, experiencing sunsets like these, experiencing the cold and mountains and sheeps, goats, and everything beautiful. But I think much later, I realized, many years later, I realized that it was just not beautiful places. I think a lot changed within me. That trek gave me confidence that I can do things, I can explore things. Even if I fall, I can still gather myself and you know um, gather myself to do it again. So that realization and whatever I felt gave me the courage to explore, to experiment, to give myself chance of fail. That that courage this trek gave me, and I
Mhm.
think that was the biggest thing which I learned, um, subconsciously or unconsciously at that time when I did the trek, but it became much prominent years later when I kept doing it again and again. So I think that is something which came out of that trek for me.
Mhm. That- I can relate to some parts of it, though I have not done so many treks as you have done. But
Hmm.
I remember one time, me with my friends, we were having this conversation that we were watching some videos of, I think, Everest or some mountain where people just fail to reach and people fall off, and it was some bad news. And
Hmm.
some of my friends, they were saying, I mean, what is the view that you are going to get at the top by doing so many things, taking so much of a risk, doing so
Hmm.
much of efforts, you reach there and it's just, I mean, if it's a huge mountain, you can't even sometimes see anything because there are clouds and
Hmm.
fog. And listening to that, I also internalized, like, why do I like trekking? And I realized that it's not about the reaching the peak, or it's not about the view, but it's the
Hmm.
process, it's the journey that you take from starting
Hmm.
point to reaching to completing that. I think the fulfillment of completing a journey or completing that process, that
Hmm.
gives more joy than the views, because if
Hmm.
it's the peak or it's the last base camp, the views are not much different. I mean, in some treks, definitely they are different and drastically different, but
Hmm.
it's about the journey, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And trekking is a journey inwards and outwards. You take two journeys. You see beautiful places, beautiful landscapes, and you also take journeys inside you. And I think that makes all the difference. So it's just amazing.
Yeah. And then why did you choose trek leading? Because if you want to be in the mountains or you love mountains, you can go on treks yearly, twice yearly, more than that.
Hmm.
But why particularly you felt that trek leading is the thing for you?
You know why? Because when I finished my first trek,
Hmm.
which was Triund, I came back to Delhi and I resigned from my job. And I did that because I felt that this profession would give meaning to my life.
Hmm.
So there was this quest that, and I wanted to find out if this would. And when I did my mountaineering courses, I was so sure that I want to work in the outdoors. So
Mhm.
I just didn't want to do a yearly thing, I take a break from work and I go hike and I do things. No, I wanted to live a meaningful life. And I knew that being in the outdoors, working in any capacity, be it a trek leader or photographer or or any other role would give meaning to my work. But because of my mountaineering courses, certificates, I knew that trek leading would be the best role for me, and that was an exciting job role as well. So I chose to be a trek leader because I wanted to be in the outdoors completely, wanted to travel to these beautiful places, and also introduce people to to the beautiful world of hiking, trekking, mountaineering. So, it was a win-win situation for me. Like I was getting an opportunity to be in the outdoors all the time and also introducing many more people to the outdoors. So it was a win-win thing for me.
Mhm. And of these many people, one of them was your mother that you took on a trek.
Mhm.
How
Oh
was that
yeah.
experience?
It it was a dream come true for me
Mhm.
and and it wasn't planned, Ojas.
Okay.
That trek that trek, how I had planned it, I had asked my brother to come for a trek, and I told my parents that you can come here and just be at the base camp, just spend time in Sari village and just relax.
Mhm.
But when they came, I said, "Hey, why don't you come to the first campsite? Deorital is not very far. It would just take 3 hours to reach there. Easy climb. Just stay in the tent, have the camping experience, have good meals, enjoy the view, and the next day you come down, and me, along with the entire trekking group and my brother, can continue to go and summit Chandrashila top."
Mhm.
But when I was on the trek, I realized that my mom was enjoying a lot. She was doing well. She wasn't physically fit, very fit, but she was enjoying a lot. She felt good on the trail. And I'm like, Mom, I think you're doing very well. Why don't you complete the entire trek with me? And I feel you can do it. She's
Mhm.
like, I don't have any gear. I don't have this. I'm like, you don't worry about that. I have my gear with me. I can share it with you.
Mhm.
I'm not joking. She was wearing all-star canvas shoes.
Oh.
I made her trek the entire trek in those shoes because, it was not about the gear. It was about the spirit that she was carrying it with her. And I had the knowledge, I had the confidence that she can do it and I can manage it for
Mhm.
anything that might happen on the trek. She nailed it. She trekked so well. She enjoyed the camping, she enjoyed the food, she talked to so many people. And when she reached the top, Chandrashila top, trust me, it was not easy for her. She had tears in her eyes because at one point she felt scared that she might fall and it was tiring. But when she reached the top, she wrote a beautiful, very small letter and she gave it to me. She blessed me. And then we clicked a couple of pictures. She gave me a hug. She cried. All the emotions just came out. So for me, it was a surprise that how a trip turned into an adventure with my mom, and then she get to see the world that I live in and experience it through my eyes and experience it through her eyes, and then we could have this beautiful moment together. And my brother was also there with me. Unfortunately, my dad couldn't complete the entire trek,
Mhm.
but that's fine. He supported us, and then he joined us on the last day of the trek. So it was a beautiful trek, beautiful experience with my mom and brother and dad.
I think the trekking and the love for outdoors in your genes, it just took time to show up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
We have this segment called Trek Walkthrough, and
Uh-huh.
you have to choose one of your favorite trek and walk us through right from reaching the base camp to the last day. Imagine
Mm-hmm.
if everyone closes their eyes and listens to this,
Mm-hmm.
they should experience the trek.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a like a take you through a trek. There are so many treks I can take through, and they all are beautiful. Yeah, I have a lot of these treks for sure. I think, but I keep coming back to Har Ki Doon trek. I think everybody at India Hikes, they know that that is one of my favorite treks.
Mhm.
And you know, like it's not even a difficult trek. Many people, when they ask me kind of trek, maybe they a lot of times they expect I talk about something which is very difficult, and but no, Har Ki Doon in is one of those treks which goes up till 11,700. It's long. It's 7 days. It covers up to almost 90 kilometers, but it's not very tough. It's a moderate trek, I would say. But why I love this trek, there are several reasons to it. I love that trek because that is the trek that I started my journey as a trek leader from that trek.
Okay.
And the journey to that base camp, which was Sankari back then, was very exciting. You know, when you get your dream job and you're going to the mountains and you know you're going to live the life that you had imagined. I was so excited. I sat on top of the bus, looking all the mountains, right, left, and then we were slowly, you know, gaining height. And then finally we reached 6,800 feet high, and this village is, you know, nestled there in the lap of the Himalayas. The beautiful part at that time about that village was that there was no network. There
Mhm.
was no network in this village, and tiny little network. I would totally describe this village as the Malgudi days village in the Himalayas, you know, where people are disconnected with the outer world, no technology, nothing. If you have a market, people are sitting there soaking in this warm sun, you know, during the springtime. And I reached there for the first time. That was the spring season. So people are sitting outside, and older people, they are smoking BDs. Women, they are coming back from work, from the fields. Kids, they are playing, you know, different, you know, the village games that they play. Older people, other adult, you know, the 20s, 30s, they're playing carom board. People are talking. There's just a lot of community time. People are spending time. And I reach there. I have this beautiful, pretty base camp. And then I meet all my people and they tell me that I have to go for Harkidun trek. I'm very excited. So, you know, I'm feeling all good at the base camp. And Harkidun was a long trek. And I really, really love trek which has a river. I totally love that. Harkidun, throughout the trek, you have a river flowing next to it.
Mhm.
Harkidun has some of the most remotest villages of our country. Some of these villages, they didn't have electricity till 2 years ago also. So imagine they didn't have um, television at home. Of course, no fan is required, but no technology. So people, they live their traditional life till now. They were living their, they still live their traditional life. So you get to see the culture. And this particular trek goes all the way to the lap of, you know, like literally the lap of the greater Himalayan range. So you get all the best of all the worlds in this one particular trek. So
Mhm.
when the trek starts from Taluka village, you immediately like go down to the riverbed and you have this trail next to Tamsa River, and you go through this beautiful, thick, dense forest, which is very different from other trek nearby, which is Kedarkantha, where you have pine trees. Here you have a mixed forest. You have maple trees, you have oak trees, you have different types of walnut trees, chestnut trees on this trek, and then you go through this flat terrain. The beautiful part about this Harki Dun trail is that you have very gradual ascending sections. So unlike summit treks where you're panting, you're getting tired, and you get very little time to look around, you have this forest where you are walking like and you are looking around, you can talk to people, so you can enjoy the forest for
Mhm.
almost 7-8 kilometers. You feel it all throughout. You can hear the sound of the river flowing next to you. You can hear birds chirping. You can hear the, you know, the trees moving. So you get to feel that's the first day. Imagine happening this on the first day of the trek. And
Wow.
then towards the end of the trek, suddenly the valley opens and you see the Gangad village right in front of you. And you're like, how the hell people 500-600 years ago moved and started living in this remote part of the country? I can't wrap my head around it. And when you go and when you look at these people, their life is so different than how people live in the in the what do you call in the in the cities. They have their traditions. They have built their houses differently. They have their very different food, what they eat, and all the practices. When you live there, when you see their life very closely, you feel very different.
Mhm.
And you spend like a day or two in these villages, and then now the time comes when you start going higher in the Himalayas, when you start seeing big mountains, and you see uh, the wider part, and along with it you're also listening to the stories of Harkidun Valley,
Mhm.
how people explored these valleys, how you have stories related to Shiva, to the Pandavas and whatnot. So you're listening, you kind of now living the place,
Mhm.
and you keep going higher, and when you reach the last point of the trek, which is Harkidun, the highest most part, suddenly when you reach there, the entire valley just opens up. Oh God, it's so beautiful. The last walk to Harkidun Valley, when you take the last walk, there is a ground that you walk, you have a river silently flowing. You can like literally cannot hear the river. It's silently flowing from there. And then you're walking. Of course, you can hear, but it's very peaceful. And then you walk the ground and you cross the bridge. You climb like 100 feet. And then when you reach this spot, you have this very wide, which is called the Harkidun Valley, right in front of you. You have the Harkidun Peak on the left. You have the Sarkarohini Peak right in front of you, from where people believe that the Pandavas went to the heaven from there. And then you have this majestic views. It's just mind blowing. So, the journey right from the starting, when you cross these forest, then you experience the village, then you go slightly higher where you see the field of these villages where people come and they do their farming. Then you go higher, you feel that you're getting into the greater Himalayas, and then you go all the way to the lap of the greater Himalayas. It's a journey. And then you take and then you come back, you kind of get back into the civilization, like kind of taking the journey but in the opposite direction now. So I think that's a trick. um, of course, I shortened the entire journey for you for the interview, but I can talk for hours if I have to go on this trek, and can describe each section in a lot more detail um, to people. That trek is a complete experience of not just the Himalayas, but culture, tradition. It has a river, all the features of the Himalayas that you experience. It has a full blend of everything that you can experience, and that's Hakidun. And interestingly, that's not the only trek that you can do in that valley. There are at least six more treks that you can take. You can go to Badasu Pass. You can go to um, uh, Badasu Pass. You can do go Harkidun Valley. You can go to Bali Pass. You can go to Black Peak Sorgarohini Base Camp. You can do Maldadu Lake. You can experience other villages. There are five villages on that trail that you can experience. So I think it's a very heavy trek. That is one of my favorite treks for sure. One sad part about this trek is that they are now constructing a road to Osla village, which is the last village, um, the remotest village on the trek. So in a few years, you will miss out on a very big part of the trek,
Mhm.
because roads will reach Osla, which is good for local people because they will get lot of things. They will get medical assistance. They can reach roads faster. They can go to cities faster. But for trekkers, I think it's little sad because there will be roads, horns, more technology coming in. So it's mixed feelings. Yeah.
That was a really beautiful description. I could imagine the things that you were telling, especially the forest part and looking at a village from a faraway point. And I will definitely have
Mhm.
this in my uh, list of to-do treks. I'm sure, like, y- uh, what the experience that you gave to your mother, you have given to numerous, I mean, countless of trekkers as a trek leader. Do you want to share some of the experiences that you gave to your trekkers as a trek leader? How has been the life when you were trek leader?
No. Wow, I would certainly say that I worked at Indiahikes for almost 9 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I took different roles at Indiahikes. I was trek leader, content creator, slope manager, a trainer, and mentor. And at one point, I also was heading the team of trek leaders at Indiahikes. But despite, I mean, all the roles that I took during this time, trek leading was always the dearest and closest to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the best time leading all the treks. And and it was because of the people I met and all the challenges that came my way and experiences that I got during this time. And
Mm-hmm.
there are so many stories, there are so many instances where I felt like, wow, this is such a life-changing experience for me. And most of these experiences or instances were very hard, very tough, and they became stories to share with everybody else. I
Mm-hmm.
remember, I remember saving this girl's life when we were hiking Kashmir Great Lakes trek. It was second last day, and then she was hit by hypothermia, and how immediately we had to take calls and then take steps to ensure that she doesn't go into a very subconscious state, and she would have died otherwise. So we had to take care of her, and it was still raining and whatnot. Then another girl, when we were crossing Pin Baba Pass, it was 16,000 feet and very strong winds were going, almost zero visibility, and this girl is going unconscious at 16,000 feet in that storm, and I have very little assistance. I have to take calls and then get her down from 16,000 feet to the next campsite. I have had experiences of several thunderstorms, lightning strikes, climbing extreme high altitude in less time. So, there are so many stories to talk which were life changing for me and for the people for the people who were there. So, which one to pick? It's very hard, but there have been many such stories, Ojas, like that.
If if I want to point out, like,
Mhm.
I'm sure you have met so many people, but there must have been someone whose life changed because of you. I mean, not just in terms of safety, that is a
Mhm.
huge part,
Mhm.
that's life saving. That is
Yeah.
like the top of the all charts.
Mhm.
But like, I mean to say, like, how your life changed after you did your first trek, and people
Yeah.
told you after they're done with the trek that the experience, because I think you can go on a trek on yourself and you can uh, go with your friends, but when you have a
Mhm.
trek leader who knows that place, who has stories to tell about each part of the trek, like you are, I'm sure
Mhm.
people get different experiences. And if you remember someone reaching out to you and telling what changed in them because of you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember this. This was again the Rital Chandrashila trek. And a very unusual thing happened at that time because we were going to Chandrashila top from the last camp.
Mhm.
Everything was amazing, going well, no problem at all. Um, but there was this one guy who felt very, suddenly he felt very weird when we were close to Chandrashila top. We
Mhm.
were hardly 100 meters away, a few feet away from the summit, like hardly, if not more, hardly 40 feet away from the summit. And this guy suddenly felt very anxious. He was like all sweating. It was cold. It was exceptionally cold. There was snow around us. He was sweating. His hands were clammy, and he was breathing very, very fast and heavily. Okay. And then he felt that he's gonna die. And then he's like, I'm not able to breathe. I'm not able to breathe. And I suddenly gave him oxygen. Okay. And I asked him to just look into my eyes and breathe with me, and then, made him feel better. And then it was not altitude sickness for sure, but something, when you feel exceptionally scared, you get these reactions within your body, and then you feel very different. And then that's what something was happening to him. So we didn't push him to the top because he was not feeling okay.
Mhm.
And and I got him down to the last campsite. It was the second last day of the trek, and the next morning, all the trekkers were supposed to go back to Rishikesh. But I knew this guy was okay. It was not a medical situation. It was more of a mental situation for him. And I
Mhm.
wanted him to get over that. And I knew and I felt that the only way to get over that was to go and climb Chandrashila again.
Mhm.
So that evening, when all of us we came back to the campsite, I I want I went up to him. I'm like, hey, I want to speak to you.
Mhm.
I want to first tell you that you did very well. You pushed your limits and you were almost there. But I know it was slightly unfortunate that you felt in a certain way. But according to my assessment, it was not a an altitude sickness or a medical emergency or a situation. I feel that you can do it, and I feel you must do it because it's a thing that you can get over if you do it again. And if you say yes, I'm not going to force you, I'm not going to push you to do this. But if you feel that this is something you want to get done with, you tell me. And tomorrow, not tomorrow morning, tonight at 2 o'clock, I, along with another trek leader,
Mhm.
we will take you, three of us will go back and climb Chandrashila again. And we finish the trek, we come back, and then you go back to Rishikesh um, with your he had come with his cousins, and you go back to Rishikesh with them.
Mhm.
And he felt anxious again. I'm like, see, I'm not pushing you, okay? Take your time. You have like 1 hour. If you feel that you want to do it, come and tell me that yes, I want to do it. If you feel no, there's not something that you really want to do, it's okay. You just tell me. Then he took his time, he went to his cousins, and his cousins came to me, hey, what did you do? He's feeling in a certain way. We don't know what. I'm like, it's okay, let him decide for himself. It's a choice that he has. I have extended something from my end, so let it be. It's okay. So an hour later, he said, he came to me, Dushyant, I'm ready. I want to do it. I was like, perfect. I
Mhm.
gave him the entire plan. And I spoke to my assistant trek leader, Devang. He was also there. I'm like, Devang, I think we got to do this for this guy. He will. I think it will change his life in a certain way. I have a feeling. He's like, yes, sir, we'll go. I spoke to my kitchen team. I spoke to Devang, and I prepared myself for the night. We made breakfast for him at 1:30 in the night. We gave him all the technical gear. We woke up early in the morning. We got him ready, and exactly at 2 o'clock, we started our trek. And then we trekked, we talked to him all throughout. He said that, Dushyant, I want to hold your hand. I'm like, yeah, whatever emotional, you know, emotional support you need, we are there. So we talked all throughout the entire trail. And when we reached the same spot where he felt, weird, he said that, Dushyant, I'm feeling slightly anxious. I'm like, okay, we are there with you. Whatever you're feeling, just feel it. If you need our support, we are here, right? Yeah, he's like, yeah, I want to hold your hand. I'm like, yeah, hold our hand. And then we slowly just reached the top. And what he felt reaching the top, I can't explain. He had tears in his eyes. He came, he hugged both of us very tightly. He kept thanking us. And it just made him feel alive. It made him feel confident. It made him feel that he can do things. He can do a lot more. So, it was just a moment of feeling that, yes, you can do it. Yes,
Mhm.
and not just here climbing a mountain, but anything that happens in life,
Yeah.
you can do it. Of course, there will be moments when you will feel low, when you will not feel great and whatnot, but no matter what, you can give it another shot and see if you can do it. And that's what he felt at that moment. And I know not just on that trek, but we were in touch briefly after that trek for at least 6 to 8 months. And he would text me that how he felt on that trek and how things changed for him after that. So so I know that kind of impacted him a lot, and it impacted me also. That we can we can change, or we can help transform people's life in a certain way, and that's what we do, and that's what we do at India Hikes, all of us.
Wow. I mean, that's really commendable that you went out of your way to just make him more confident and make him feel good about himself. And the fulfillment that we talked about earlier about completing it. I mean,
Yeah.
really, really amazing. I just
Yeah.
got goosebumps just listening to that.
Yeah, it was a beautiful experience for sure.
Um, you have done mountaineering courses, and
Mhm.
I wanted to know, like, if anyone who is listening or wants
Mhm.
to do mountaineering courses, what what basically, firstly, what are these mountaineering courses? Is it like engineering? Is it like, if it's consider me as a layman, and what are these courses firstly, and how do you get into these courses, and why or who should do these mountaineering courses?
Um, wow, three questions. Um, we started, what are these courses? What are these courses are about? They teach you, they prepare you um, for mountaineering. Very specifically, I'm saying they prepare you for mountaineering when you climb mountains, and especially the technical climb. Are when you're going for something like Nanda Ghunti, you want to climb Trishul. These are 6,000, 7,000 meter high peaks, and they need some technical skills. So these courses, they teach you or they prepare you to climb these technical peaks, and they make you learn how to jumar, how to use ice axe, wearing crampons and many more technical gear that you use on these treks. They teach you how to use them. So these courses are for that. How do you get into these courses? I think they have an age limit of 18 to 45. But of course, there are some exceptions as well. So anybody can enroll for these courses if they are physically fit. You need very high level of physical endurance because they're very rigorous courses.
Mhm.
They not only challenge you physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. So anybody who wants to go for a program like this and they want to climb technical peaks, this is the course that you can take, and it's fairly reasonably charged. Also, they are not very expensive, so it's good for anybody to go for that course. Those who want to climb mountains, for them as well, and those who want to start or like take mountaineering or hiking, trekking as a career, for them as well. I would say it's more for mountaineers than
Mhm.
for hikers, backpackers, and trekkers. Of course, trekking is also a part of this course, but they mostly focus on the technical skills to climb mountains. So if you're someone who wants to take hiking, backpacking, trekking as a career, there are other courses as well. This is more for mountaineering, I would say. So choose what you want to decide what you want to do. You want to be a trek leader, you want to be a backpacker, or you want to be a mountaineer. So based on your interest, you must choose the program.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
why did you choose the program when you decided to take up this program? And what was your experience in the basic
Um,
or advanced mountaineering course?
See, I took up this program because that was the only way for me. I had very little knowledge about um, how and what can I do to be a trek leader. So I was unsure which would be the best course for me. So
Mhm.
I took up basic mountaineering course because first, it was reasonably priced. Second, that was something I wished to do. I wanted to climb mountains at that time, so I took up that course. The course was brilliant. It prepared me for many more challenges to come. 28-day, very rigorous course. They teach rock craft, they teach you ice craft, and they have other surviving skills and classroom sessions. So basically, they prepare you for anything that you do when you go to climb these mountains. So the course was exceptionally good, no doubt about that. But if I knew that I wanted to be a trek leader and I wanted to lead hiking, backpacking trips, I might have taken a different course for that because I know there are backpacking courses with Hennifel, there are backpacking trip leader course with Knowles, there are wilderness first responder courses with Knowles. So I would have taken these courses instead of mountaineering courses because I did not climb technical peaks so far. I haven't climbed technical peaks, but I went completely into trekking, hiking, backpacking. So these courses would have been more helpful for me. But of course, I don't regret doing these courses. They were amazing. They were really good. And I might climb mountains in future.
Mhm. Any particular incident that you remember that if that it was an activity that you did and you are like, did I just do that? Or if you had any such experiences?
Mm. Yeah, I think a lot of them. There were there were quite a few courses. I think there were quite a few things. I think climbing. Oh, yeah. I think rock climbing. When I went for my basic mountaineering course to Kashmir, they have one of the best rock climbing phases to climb. They take you to high altitude warfare school climbing zone, and the rock faces there are incredible. They are straight. They are you know they make you feel very different. And I had not climbed um, before that. And I remember I was climbing, and my forearms, my legs, they were all like trembling and shivering because you need very different strength to climb, to do rock climbing. But I was very determined that I want to do that. And I kept climbing. And then there was this one point when I looked down. It was very high. For a person like me, even I've done so many treks and I've been to such heights, but at that time it was my first experience. And I had that moment. I'm like, wow, I can't imagine that I climbed this and I was like literally hanging off the rope, some few hundreds of meters above meters or feet above the ground. I think I still can't forget that moment. Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. You also mentioned that you have been in different roles throughout your journey. I want to talk
Hmm.
more about it, like how, because I think the span of career, the 9 year long career that you have
Hmm.
been a trek leader, you have been senior. I mean, I don't know how the hierarchy works there, but if anyone who is interested in taking this as a career path, what
Hmm.
are the options, or how does the mountain of career path look like in the outdoor?
See, I would say anybody who wants to start a career in outdoors, in India especially, I would say Indiahikes is the best place.
Mm-hmm.
It is the best place. It's just not about hiking and trekking. It's a lot more. It's a lot more than that. It's about values. It's about culture. It's about caring for your trekkers. It's a lot more than just getting an opportunity to hike these beautiful places. And I think that is something which everybody must consider because 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 trekking is still growing in our country, and we want a better future for it. So anybody who wants to start, India Hikes is the best place. You can start as a trek leader if you want an outdoor role. You can also choose to work in the Bangalore office, where you can work as a experience coordinator. You can work in finance team, content teams. So there are five teams where you can also work if you want to work in the back end. And I can't tell you like how much you will grow personally and professionally. There is no limit to it, and it's not easy job. It is not an easy job, um, be it in office or be it in the outdoors. But yeah, because I worked as a trek leader, I think if you want to work in outdoors, you will start as an assistant trek leader. You will have your 1 month long training in Bangalore office, and then in the outdoors with your trainers, mentors, and then you become an assistant trek leader. You go with a senior trek leader. They see you on treks, and then you continue to work as an assistant trek leader till you become a trek leader. Then there are other roles that you can take in the mountains, like a slope manager, a trainer, a mentor, but that comes with more experience. But initially, you start as an assistant trek leader and a trek leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you start working, I would first say that focus on what you're learning in the organization. There is a lot is good because we have our own training team.
Mm-hmm.
So We work on environmental skills, we work on safety skills, we work on facilitation skills. So we work on all these skills. So focus on what you're learning in the organization. Then you start working. So when you are working, you get your own experiences. You learn from your own experiences. You learn from your own failures. That is your second way of um, the way you learn things. Third is now out of your own interest, you start reading, you start searching, you take certification courses, you do for other smaller courses, you take break from your work. You do a course with NOLS like a WFR. You take a course on birding, you take a course on stargazing, some online courses. So that is third way of learning. So these are different stages, and I'm telling you in sequence
Yeah.
because your training starts, then you become a trek leader, and then you learn on trek. And then when you know that you want to learn more, you take a break, you take vacation, or you take online courses to learn. And then you keep going. So this cycle keeps on going like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is the ladder that you take.
I just wanted to, because I'm still thinking about the story that you told about the trekker, and I have also I have done a few treks, and sometimes if the feeling that on certain base camp, I think about obviously the views and everything, but at just for a small moment, this also comes to the mind that you are so much disconnected from the world. The communication is not there. It's difficult. I mean, there are certain ways, but what if something happens to me? What if I get sick or something happens to me at that level? How will I manage?
Mhm.
How will I even reach? How will I even communicate to my family or anything? I mean, all the bad things that can come to your mind. Obviously, you get good thoughts because in especially it comes in the night of a trek because it's dark. You have
Mhm.
the stars and beautiful views also. But have
Mhm.
you ever felt that?
Yeah. Yeah, I've felt like that a number of times, not just once, and especially when you're going for um, difficult and very long treks. I wouldn't say it's not a fear. It is it is something you prepare for
Mhm.
because I am responsible for um, 20, 15 trekkers who are coming to trek with me. I have been trained, I have prepared. So what I do in that case, I always plan for the worst. As a trek leader, I know the trek which I'm going for. If I'm going for Pin Parvati, let's say, which is considered to be a difficult trek, it's 120 kilometers long. It is almost 18,500 feet high. You have several river crossings. You have glacier crossings. You have really difficult sections, and it's in the remotest part of the Himalayas where you don't see civilization for almost 10 days. So you're so deep. Anything happens, it's not easy to evacuate. So I know if I'm going on a trek like that, I have 15 trekkers with me. I have 22 porters with me. And I have the responsibility of each one of them, including my staff also. So I need to be prepared for the worst. I need to see what all gear do I need. I need to know how many staff who are trained to handle situation, who could support me in my decision making, how trained they are. Do I have the entire gear? And I also have to stick to the protocols that we follow at Indiahikes to make sure that I'm not leaving anything unattended. So I have to make plan for each and every day, not just the entire trek, but break down the trek in 10 different days, see what each day holds for me, what are the challenges on each days, what the possible challenges that can come my way, and prepare for each one of them. This is before we go on the trek. Now, when I'm on the trek, I have to assess all the time. I have to keep my eyes open. I have to feel things. I have to see how trekkers are doing. Are they doing okay? So, it's a very continuous process which goes on. It can get stressful, but if you are prepared, if you're trained well, if you know what you're doing, it is also a very fun, fun thing when you're there because you are so attentive all the time. It's just fun to be doing this job then. Yeah. See, yes, you get feelings, but you have to be realistic. You can't just completely. I think yeah, you can't be in a zone where you keep thinking of, oh, bad things can happen, bad can. No, just be realistic that I'm prepared to handle these situations. I have everything with me. So I think you have to be very realistic. Your approach has to be realistic in the mountains. You can't just live in your um, uh, thoughts all the time. No, you can't. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Basically, I think being in the present at that
Being
moment.
in, yes, being in the present. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I will definitely try to follow this in the next
Mhm.
trek, whichever I go on.
Yeah,
So Dushyant, you are currently in the US doing your master's in the outdoor experiential learning. And I want
yeah.
to know what differences you see in the way people see or pursue hiking or outdoor activities in India and in US or in general, like in different
Mhm.
parts of the world.
It's quite different how we do it here and how we do it in India.
Mhm.
Um, Hiking, backpacking, trekking is done a lot more independently here in the United States, where people carry their own food, ration, gear, sleeping bags, tents. They carry maps with them, sometimes GPX files, and then they hike totally by themselves. So it's a lot more independent way of hiking, trekking.
Mhm.
Whereas in India, we have independent as well as we have organizations where like how we have at Indiahikes, we organize treks where we introduce people to the world of outdoors. So it's done very differently. Other than that, another difference is that in India, in the Indian Himalayas, we have a lot of native people, local people who live there, and then we get to see the mountains, feel the mountains through them, listening to their stories, and a lot of connection is built because of their presence. So I think they play a very important role, like how you had guides on your Rupin Pass trek and other treks. So they add a lot of value in the kind of experience that you get. Otherwise, we will not know the place. Listening to all the stories builds a very deeper connection. So this is something which I feel is not here in the United States. People do a lot of trekking independently. So listening to stories, local legends, and how people used to use these places as those stories are kind of missing because we trek independently here.
Mhm.
So these are major differences in the way we trek in India and here in the United States.
Mhm. I think, and the terrain is also quite different in India and in the US, if I'm not wrong.
Okay. Of course, it's quite different, but I would say that you have challenging trails here as well. You have difficult and very different kind of trails. So I think wherever you will go in the world, be it Andes or United States, there are so many mountain ranges here, or in the Himalayas or Siadris. So there will be tough trails, there will be easy trails. So I think we get different trails everywhere.
Mhm. So watching you talk about Himalayas, the way you are describing it, I'm
Mhm.
sure you must be missing Himalayas now that you are in US.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I am. Mhm.
what's the plan for your future? You are currently pursuing your master's. So, why are you doing this master's? What is it that you're looking forward to now?
I think further education in this field is allowing me to open more doors for myself and for the community in India. I feel eventually I would like to come back to the Himalayas and explore more and do more for this community. Um, right now, I am building skill to understand how things are done here in the United States, what people are doing, and also researching on various topics, various things. Like filling the literature So I think that is something which is still missing in India. We don't have a lot of literature in outdoor education, experiential education in India. And with this degree, I would like to research and do my projects in India. So right now I'm in my second semester of my master's program. I wish to research on the Bakarwals who live in the Himalayas. So I want to learn about how their interaction is, how they interact with nature, what they have learned in the Himalayas. They travel so much. They live a nomadic life. They're always outdoors. So what wisdom do they have? I want to research on that. So you know, so I want to work on the literature too. As much as I want to spend time outdoors, I also want to do a lot of research work. So this is where I'm heading with my master's degree right now.
That is really interesting aspect of looking at the mountain life,
Yeah,
and I'm sure you will excel at it. And as you mentioned, you will bring that wealth of knowledge to the community of trekkers, not just in India. I think the kind of experience you have, I think the community all over the globe would benefit from knowing more and more things about trekking and mountaineering in general.
yeah.
Thank you, Dushyant, for being part of this podcast and sharing your all your experiences.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ojas, for all the thought-provoking questions and something which took me back to my trek leading days in the Himalaya. So I think I got to live some of the treks and trails and stories through this interview. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. This brings us to the end of another chapter from the Himalayan Diaries. You were listening to Dushyant Sharma. You can follow Dushyant on Instagram. His profile is full of beautiful pictures from mountains all around the world. The link is in the description. Thanks for joining us on Himalayan Diaries from Unboxing Stories. I'm your host Ojas. Together with Shivam Hasurkar, we are the creators of Unboxing Stories. Remember, every step in the mountains tells a story, and we are here to bring them to you. If you are inspired to start your own trekking adventure, please remember that these are not just leisure activities, but true adventure sports. It's crucial to learn, prepare, and take all necessary safety measures before embarking on your journey. Your safety is as important as your adventure. If you have enjoyed this episode, do share it with your friends and family. Please make sure to follow us and leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast. Tune in next time as we continue to unbox more stories from the Himalayan Diaries. Until then, keep moving forward.